Update on the GLI. I've got a new steering wheel installed. You may remember in the previous video I complained about a warning that was popping up, trip assistant not available. Well, apparently that's an issue with the steering wheel. It's actually Metal Jesus Rocks that posted a comment in that video talking about having the same issue on his GTI. His GTI has the same steering wheel, and apparently there's sensors in the steering wheel that know when you have your hands on the wheel or not. And in order for things like lane keep and adaptive cruise control to work, it needs to know when you have your hands on the wheel. Sometimes lane keep doesn't work. You really can't trust it. Again, it's not advertised as hands-free driving, but as you can see, it will kind of try to keep you in your lane. Now eventually, it'll start yelling at you. You've got to have your hands on the steering wheel. Again, legally, it's not hands-free driving. You certainly cannot trust it to be hands-free driving. It's there just to kind of help keep you in your lane if you're not paying 100% attention at the moment. And usually you can feel that steering wheel move a little bit and that'll get your attention. But of course, if you don't have your hands on the wheel, it's going to yell at you. And it's got to be able to know if you've got your hands on the wheel or not. And therefore, there's got to be sensors in the steering wheel that know when you have your hands on the steering wheel. And if that sensor starts to go bad, which apparently is a common issue, it won't let you use features like the lane keep, which is part of the trip assistant, I guess, package of features. So yeah, that's why I was getting that warning, trip assistant not available. It's just because the sensor in the steering wheel was going bad. So I was in for my last oil change. I mentioned it then, and they said, yeah, we'll order you a new steering wheel. It only took a day. It arrived the next day. They changed it in about 3 or 4 hours, and it's been good since. I haven't got that warning since. So seems like that problem is solved. Again, seems like it's a fairly common issue with these cars. So at least to some degree they were ready for it. It wasn't a huge deal, but and obviously it was all done under warranty. It didn't cost me anything. So yeah, again, not a huge deal, minor inconvenience that had to go in and get that done, but yeah, not a big deal. Trying to get you some of the turbo noises. I think they're mostly noticeable. Oh, I'm getting low on fuel apparently. I think the noises are mostly noticeable when you're hitting like traction control. And then like, I don't know if the diverter valve, I guess, is maybe kicking in, or the wastegate. I'm not an expert on turbocharged cars. This is the first turbocharged car that I've ever owned. I certainly understand the basics of how an engine works, and I certainly understand the basics of how forced induction works. But yeah, the diverter valve would kick in kind of like a blow-off valve. When you let off the throttle and you've got all that pressure in the intake manifold that suddenly isn't getting sucked into the engine because your throttle closed, and then you need to bleed off that pressure, and that would be the diverter valve. Whereas the wastegate is more like when you hit your boost limit. get on it and the traction control kicks in and it's like suddenly letting off, then I would think the diverter valve would be opening. And because it's trying to control the traction, it's almost like getting on and off the throttle really quickly. And you can hear the diverter valve kind of open and close really quickly, and it kind of makes like a kind of noise. And it sounds pretty cool. I don't think I've ever had the red light for low fuel come on in this car. I didn't know something would come up on the screen like that. It's kind of cool, I guess. I mean, I just hit 1 tick, but that's still going to have quite a bit of range. This car has really good fuel economy. Like, I am not kidding. For a 2-liter turbocharged engine that gives you the performance that this thing can give you when you want it, this thing can do like 40 miles per gallon. On a couple of nights driving home on back roads, I've got it to hit, I forget what it was in liters per 100, 5.8 liters per 100 kilometers or something like that. I'll show a picture of the dash. But yeah, that's like 40.5 miles per gallon. This thing's only rated for, I think, 38 highway. And on several occasions, I've got 40, and a lot of other people are saying the same thing. These cars are really quite good on fuel. My wife has a 2020, I believe, 2019 or 2020 Honda Civic. It's a sedan like this. It's a 2-liter, but obviously not turbocharged. Just a naturally aspirated 2-liter. And it's got like a CVT. They said it was the used car dealer called it a 6-speed automatic, but I'm pretty sure it's actually a CVT. And of course it has, its fake shift profiles programmed into it to make it feel like an automatic, but it's actually a CVT. And we can't get 40 miles per gallon in that thing, which is kind of crazy. It's probably lighter than this car. It's not turbocharged. In theory, if it's a CVT, that shouldn't really affect highway fuel economy one way or the other, I wouldn't think. But it cannot do 40 miles per gallon. So I don't know. Is there something wrong with it? Again, I don't think it's rated for 40. It might be rated, again, for like 38 or something in that range. And maybe on a good day, maybe it could do that. But several occasions in this, I've gotten it to hit 40.5 miles per gallon. And not even on the highway. That's back roads where there is a little bit of, I got to slow down to turn off onto another road. And then slowly accelerates back to my cruise control speed. But again, for the performance that you get out of this car, it can do 0 to 60 in like 5.9 seconds. Quarter mile in, I forget exactly, mid-14s maybe. Fairly quick for what it is, and the weight that it is. Definitely heavier than a Honda Civic Si. And yet it can still do 40 miles per gallon without even really trying that hard. So, yeah, that's great. I'm gonna hang a left here and hopefully find a gas station, but maybe I'll get on it a little bit. Focus ST there. It's like my arch enemy, I guess. Also a 2-liter turbo, of course. Well, opportunity to get on it lost. Yeah, Ford Focus ST, also a 2-liter turbo. I think my car's a little bit faster stock for stock, but of course, you never know. I wouldn't assume the average Focus ST is stock. A lot of people mod these GLIs or the GTI platform. Number one thing everyone says to do is get a downpipe. Get a downpipe. I mean, a downpipe alone with a tune in this car, you're over, I think, 330 horsepower. Something like that. It's very obvious the engine is tuned, almost detuned a little bit. Conservatively tuned. Rated at 228 horsepower. Maybe that's underrated. Maybe it is more like 250, but to gain almost 100 horsepower with just a downpipe and a tune, I'm not gonna do it, but I'm just saying. Everyone says to do it. And even people just for the sound of the exhaust. Some people will remove the resonator, and then they're I don't know why my wipers just came on. Did a drop hit my fucking windshield? But yeah, they'll do like a resonator delete, and then they're like, oh, it's barely louder. I'm kind of disappointed. Or they'll do a muffler delete, and same thing. Oh, it's barely louder. I'm kind of disappointed. And so everyone's like, what's better, a resonator delete or a muffler delete? And then again, it's just like downpipe. If you just do a downpipe, your exhaust will sound much louder. You'll hear a little bit more of the crackles and pops, perhaps. And everyone said, it's a waste of money to do like catback on this car. Fuck, just keep the resonator, keep the mufflers, keep basically catback stock. Just do a downpipe. For sound, for performance, just do a downpipe. That's what everyone says. Apparently fairly common with turbocharged cars. The downpipe must be very restrictive. Maybe partially to help with sound. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not an expert on turbocharged cars. But that is interesting nonetheless. So yeah, super, super happy with this car. The performance and the fuel economy, it's a pretty good mix. I'm not going to say nothing can touch it. Are there other cars that can do 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds and hit, 40.5 miles per gallon relatively easily? Yeah, probably. I'm assuming this is like a full serve. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Nice STI. An old, I think it's a Mercury Cougar. An old Mercury Cougar in front of me. I'm gonna do one last